ready for the big reveal? Introducing our beautiful 2021 Raw Beauty Ambassadors.
Hello, my name is Dawnjalice Brown, and I'm here today to share my story. I was molested as a child, and my mom was in a series of domestic violence relationships. I always tell her we were in those relationships because I think for a long time she didn't realize the effect that it was having on me, and that I was in those relationships just as much as she was. And when we talked about this later in life, I told her and I asked her, I said, what were you thinking? Did you think about me at all while you were going through those situations? Did you think about the fact that I was in that same relationship, but I was just observing it? But it affected me because I was in my own childhood mind trying to protect you, especially when she was with Harry. Harry wanted me to call him daddy, but I had a father and I love my father, and I refused to call him daddy because I had a daddy. But when I would go visit my dad on the weekend, I knew he would get upset and get abusive with my mom. So I didn't go see my dad as much. And I didn't realize that it affected my father too until later. We were talking and he said, I thought you didn't want to come see me. I thought that, my own child for some reason would rather be with her mom and whoever she was with than be with me. And I was like, no, Dad. I was trying to keep him from beating my mama's ass. That was it. He loved to grab a gun. He started off at first bringing us things, talking about, the future. I mean, he really, I think, I don't want to say groomed, but he just drew us in. And it was like, okay, this isn't a bad thing. This isn't bad. He looked out for me and stuff like that. But gradually, the first time he grabbed the gun, and we ran out the house. I'm in my bedclothes. And this happened over and over and over until one night I'm sitting at the dinner table and him and my mom are in their bedroom fighting, just like I'm sitting here talking to you now, but I'm eating dinner. And just behind me, the gun goes off and the shot came through the wall. And had I been sitting a foot to my right, then I would not be here to share my story today. So that's what I mean when I say I was in that relationship as much as she was. Because even though he tried to control finances, even though my mama had a job, there were times she still couldn't afford. She worked at a grocery store, but couldn't afford to buy groceries. She had a car, he would sell her car. And, she had this truck that she loved and she had to sell it because he needed money. And it was just so many things that even as a kid, I grew up fast and I observed and I perceived and I just was like, this isn't right. And I tried to take a bunch of Tylenol. This is a kid that's in 4th, 5th grade taking Tylenol because you don't want to be here. Because you don't want to deal with hearing your mom get beat up. But then hearing them have sex. But in your mind, you're thinking she isn't doing it willingly. So even that messed with my mind. Like, how could you be in there doing that, but just yesterday he was choking you out? So in my head, I couldn't rationalize it all. So he had started doing little things, touching me. He used to call it checking your oil, where he would stick his finger, even though we'd be closed, but like try to stick his finger in your butt or whatever. And then it went from that till he started coming in the bathroom when I was taking a bath, because we didn't have showers. We lived in the country. You had to take a bath at night. And he started using the bathroom while I was in the tub. And I started locking the door, because I knew it wasn't right. If my mama came in there, that's fine. That's my mama. But he's a man. I shouldn't be seeing his manhood. I shouldn't be seeing him half dressed. And he'd do these things when my mama was at work. He wouldn't do it when she was around. And so I was afraid to tell my mom, because I knew they would fight. I felt like I couldn't tell my father, because my daddy would have killed him. And then I wouldn't have my dad. But as an 11, 12-year-old child, these are not the thoughts that you should be having in your head. You shouldn't be thinking about taking your life. You shouldn't be thinking about having to stay in a bad situation and not being able to tell someone because you're afraid of what would happen. You knew that somebody would lose their life, and you just didn't want it to be the people that you loved. I think now it's being aware of maybe certain tendencies and knowing that it's okay to let people in, but when people show you who they are, if that's not what you want, then you need to leave. Don't wait until first they start with verbal abuse or emotional abuse or, just whatever. Don't wait. Soon as they give you an inclination as to who they are, then you need to go. Because it's okay being alone. It really is. It is okay. It is okay not as an adult having to almost ask permission to be you. It is really okay. It's a difference between submitting to your husband biblically and being in an abusive, controlling, dictatorial relationship. Those are two different things, and they're not synonymous with one another. One is abusive, and one is a beautiful, loving, where that man respects you. He realizes I might be the head, but you the neck. All he can see is what's in front of him, but he can't turn unless he has you connected to him. So if that is not what you have going on, let it go. Let it go. Let it go. And be good with you. I think that's the main thing, is just being happy with yourself. Jesus be a fence. And just be that hedge of protection around me. Because I feel that's throughout my life. Even with everything that we went through, that night I didn't die. When I tried to take them Tylenol pills, all I did is get sick and threw up, and my mama thought I was sick and we went to the ER. I didn't die. I was involved in a mass shooting. That day, I didn't die. The Lord has always been that hedge of protection. He has always been that fence. So, that, and people think when I say it, Jesus be a fence. Sometimes, we say it like, oh, and you say it in play, and you just kind of, but really and truly, I'm saying it for real. Yes. Like, Lord, be a fence, be that protection, be just what I need, I think this day has just been an awesome experience, coming and getting glammed up and, putting on clothes and just feeling, just liberated. I think the day has been a day of liberation for many, because I don't think anyone has shared their story quite like this. You may have shared it with some family friends, or you may have even given your testimony at an event, but to do it like this and to feel so like, so girly and so feminine and so just embracing who you are. and appreciating yourself. So I think it's been a very liberating experience, and especially for me. Well, I just applied for promotion.
Okay.
So, I am thanking the Lord for that promotion. Yes. So that is what I'm excited about. And I'm starting a podcast.
Awesome.
Yes. It's called Pearls, Bourbon, and Sports. Exactly what it is. It's me and my girlfriend, Pearls. I'm a Zeta and she's an AKA, so we, the Pearl thing.
Okay.
Bourbon, we both appreciate great bourbon and a single malt scotch.
Okay.
And I am a diehard sports fanatic. I love basketball, football. I love sports to the part that I watch. I play volleyball. I watch volleyball matches. I watch tennis. I even watch curling.
Okay. Black girl, all right.
Black girl that even enjoys curling. So we're just going to talk twice a week, about sports and about other things that affect us, especially as Black women.
Yes.
Social injustices, everything. So it's a very, I think it's different because you don't find a lot of women talking about sports, for one, in podcasts, even on TV. Most of the women are just kind of there in the middle, kind of directing the guys, but they aren't as actively engaged in, the analysis of sports. I am Dawnjalice Brown, and I am raw, beauty, proud.